Alright guys, I'm super excited. Overwatch 2 is getting a new update. So let's go and show you guys all of the new changes. So I actually want to start this video off out with Zenyatta because he's got one of the weirdest changes. So first off, he's got a little bit more shields. So that's overall good for survivability. But he's got this kick over here that actually pushes the enemies quite far. So he can yeet people off the map, which is actually a really nice little buff. What's actually interesting with this is it's actually got a damage buff as well. So I'm looking at my patch notes, and I'll also link them down below. But now the kick does 50% more damage. So normally you'd hit for 30, and now it's 45. So this means if I hit a tracer with the orb, and if I headshot, I can headshot and actually melee her. I guess she was kind of weak before. So if I headshot and melee her, she will actually die. On Tracer, but most squishy targets you can get them pretty close to dying because you get more damage with it. But what's even cooler with this is, like, if there's a map where you can push people off, I mean, your melee doesn't really have a cooldown, right? So you can just kick someone off the map. So on like Well or any maps where there is the potential for knocking someone off, Zen is actually good for that. So that's the changes with Zen. I wanted to start off with that, but there's a lot of other changes as well. So I'm gonna kick it off with the DPS because this is the order that they have over on the website for the patch notes. But I don't like reading the patch notes as much as I like showing you guys, but I'll explain the numbers as well. So the Railgun has the width increase, that's the right click, that's this ability. It's been doubled, so basically it's twice as thick, so you're going to be able to hit people more consistently with it. And then on top of that, the cooldown is actually changed for her little power slide, so it got a 1 second buff. So instead of being 7 seconds, it's now 6 seconds. Not really that important to really show you guys, but the width thing, it's just going to make it feel a lot more consistent. So next up over here with Soldier, let's go ahead and show off Soldier's new changes over here. So it really comes down to the pulse rifle damage being changed. So I'm going to drop some gameplay to show you guys like how good Soldier was. The difference is actually pretty big. I mean, some of you guys might be thinking he goes from 20 to 18 damage. Is it that big of a deal? The answer is yes. The reason why is because the amount of shots it takes on a 200 HP target at 20 damage each, that's 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now it's going to be 6 headshots. And then normally it would be 10 body shots, but again, you're going to have to follow up depending on the characters with more shots. So on average, it might be like, depending on what character it is, you're going to have to lay a couple more extra shots into them. But I think Soldier is still relatively good. I was surprised they didn't change his magazine count. I thought that that's what they were going to do to like kind of nerf him, because he would just shred a bunch of the different tank lineups. He also got a movement speed nerf by 10%, which is actually interesting because all the DPS get a movement speed buff, so basically he doesn't get any like extra bonus, if that makes any sense, from this, because he went from 50% to 40, but he already has 10, so he was kind of basically nerfed a little bit. He basically doesn't get like the newer passive, if you want to think of it kind of like that, which every character has in Overwatch 2. Also, his tac visor did get changed, so it now allows for crit hits. So normally you cannot get headshots with Soldier's ultimate, but now if it would be a headshot, you will land the headshots. So is that a buff? I think for like the higher end, it technically is a buff. And then it also no longer moves damage fall off from his heavy pulse rifle. So overall, that's still probably going to be a nerf in most circumstances, depending on how far away you are from the target. Sombra's change is kind of simple to show you guys. All that happens is the movement speed got reduced from 65 to 50%. I guess she was just too fast. Next up, my favorite character, Roadhog. So he got changed by having his ultimate changed over here. And so with his ultimate, normally how they worded it is it's changed from a channeled ultimate into a transform ultimate. So basically what that means, after we built the ult, we'll show you guys. But if something like hits you with a stun, it does not stop you from being able to do your thing. So what that means is, in addition to not basically getting locked out of your ultimate or being locked into your ultimate, you can now do stuff during your ultimate. So that would be a overall buff. Now, is this going to make Roadhog super good? I don't think so. But what is nice, say for example, you use your whole hog on a enemy like, let's say, Diva or Sigma that has like the absorb ability, right? When Sigma absorbs, you can just hook them out of it. Unfortunately, the AI, I don't think you can make them do things. So let's say, for example, let's just use Sigma here. So let's say we ult, Sigma's going to want to use his ability to absorb, right? And we can just, while we're mid-ulting, say I get to choose when I fire, I can hook him and then continue to shoot him off the map or whatever the case may be. So this is a nice change to Roadhog. It still doesn't really make him fit, in my personal opinion, into the tank category because he's just an ult battery, especially because armor kind of got buffed in a sense with the newest update, depending on which target is actually hitting you. There is a change with armor, and he doesn't have any armor anyway. So that is the change with Roadhog. Next up, though, we have also stuns no longer cancel his ultimate. But anyways, Winston got a nice change as well. So his right click, it just takes less ammo. So now it's 12 instead of 20. Really weird number, but basically more ammo for Winston's right click. It costs less, so you'll have more shots, if that makes any sense. Wrecking Ball, how this works is when he actually swings into enemy, the knockback is increased by 36% is the exact number. I don't really play ball, so I couldn't really tell you. But that is the change with ball. After we fall off, we'll go swap to Zarya. So Zarya also got to change. Whoa, what's going on? Alright, so Zarya's change is actually really not necessary to show you guys, but I will mention it. Her grabs or ultimate is changed, so instead of being 4 seconds duration, it's 3.5. That's basically a nerf to Zarya, so Zarya is nerfed. And then Lucio over here, he got a nerf with the crossfade self-healing penalty is increased from 30 to 60%, so yeah, this should be a nerf. They reduced the amount of heals that it gives. All the healers basically have the ability to heal themselves if they just don't take damage for a little bit. And Lucio's now is basically going to be nerfed a little bit. Well, let's go ahead and have him get hit. Okay. So if I don't take damage, I will automatically heal anyways. It's just kind of a nerf to Lucio to make him a little bit more balanced. Maybe on certain maps where, you know, like on the Lijiang Tower where he's spinning around, it'll just be a little bit of a nerf for him. Now Bap, we basically have a really quick change to it. So instead of the ammo being 10, it's now 13, so 3 more heals before you gotta reload on the biotic launcher. No necessary to like show gameplay of that really, other than mention the numbers. Anna, the ammo got increased from 12 to 15, so another 3 shots for Anna, so less time reloading, more time shooting. The biotic grenade duration, that's this, instead of it lasting 4 seconds, it is now 3. So Anna got a buff and a nerf. Her biotic grenade and sleep are insanely powerful, especially if you're playing against Doomfist. I still think she's one of the top tier healers. I already showed you guys the changes with Zen. And then lastly over here we have Brig. So here are the changes with Brig. Her knockback is doubled. So if you push someone, it still feels really weak. Let me go ahead and find a target that's like not going to be like stuck on a wall. Actually, you know what? Can we break the railing here? Let me see if I can. You can't break this railing. But basically the knockback on the shield bash is increased. So I would say this should be a buff overall. So I guess now we can kind of boop them even further. So like if we, let's say, hit them, we can follow it up and they'll get pushed further back. But here's like, I guess, the visuals on a target. It still feels like it's a little bit weak in terms of how far it pushes them back, but I'll probably consider this a buff in that department. So hopefully this will make people play a little bit more supports, because the queue times for support, they're really short because no one really wants to play them. So let me know, guys, what your thoughts are on all these Overwatch changes. Do you guys like them? Do you guys think they're bad? Overall, for me, I think these are pretty decent changes overall on the most part. But I would really like to see them do a little bit more with Roadhog, because again, if you have a solo tank Roadhog and they have Anna, you're going to be put to sleep, you're going to be anti, like, it's a nightmare to play Roadhog as like the only tank. So hopefully they can adjust him, because they mentioned even that he was underperforming. It's probably via like the win-loss ratio. Roadhog gets absolutely destroyed in the current game for like single tank. And you guys know I used to be a Roadhog main. Now I don't really even play Roadhog at all, even in like 6v6. But for the most part, these are cool changes. We'd love to see new heroes. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see in new updates. So hopefully they'll add that soon. And when they do, I'll definitely give you guys gameplay and updates on that. But if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. Let me know what your favorite changes are in the comments below. I mean, mine's Roadhog, but I still think it's too weak. But take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, and I'm out. Peace!